All right, sir, you're Ernest Sinnett Sr.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sinnett was previously in court and entered a pleas of not true to counts 1 and 2 in a motion to revoke probation. And so, Ms. French, does the state have witness with regard to those counts?
Yes, Your Honor, we do. The state would call Sarah Simon.
Good morning, Ms. Simon. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Simon, are you employed with the Jefferson County Adult Probation Office?
Okay.
And in what capacity is that?
I'm a probation officer and I supervise the sex offender case.
All right. And as someone supervising the sex offender caseload is Ernest Joseph Sinnett Sr., one of your probationers.
He is.
And how long has he been supervised by you?
Since February of 25.
February of 25. During that time, the past year or so, has he been required to participate in sex offender group counseling?
He has.
And has he done that?
He has, but he has been discharged twice unsuccessfully.
And can you tell the court why he was discharged twice unsuccessfully?
The first time he was ordered to take a sexual history, the sexual history polygraph with Julie Ayala. He did not show up for the polygraph, nor did he call Miss Ayala about not attending. He's been very adamant about his excuse me, I'm sorry. About not being guilty for his offense. He doesn't accept responsibility for his behavior. So he was ordered to attend with Mr. Simon, and Mr. Sinnett was aware that he was going to have to take another polygraph with Mr. Simon as well. I advised him to set aside funds for that polygraph since he cannot afford it with Miss Ayala, and he did not do that with Mr. Simon. He was discharged for continuing to deny responsibility for his offense behavior and did not adhere to his financial obligation for treatment services.
So what you've testified to with regard to any failure on Mr. Sinnett's part are both condition 28 as alleged and condition 29 as alleged in the MTRP?
Yes, sir.
And just to be clear, is Mr. Sinnett here in the court today?
Yes.
And can you identify him by an article of clothing he's wearing for the court?
He's wearing a black sweater.
I asked that the court, I'm sorry, I just drew a blank.
I've already asked him his name, and he
Okay.
has stated that he is in fact Mr. Ernest Sinnett Sr.
Okay. This is a 10-year probation term, is that correct, deferred?
Yes, sir.
And did you prepare the PSI?
I did.
And ask the court to take judicial notice of the PSI?
I will do that.
In PSI, you talk about Mr. Sinnett denying this offense and refusing to accept responsibility, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But yet he's on probation because he pled guilty
Correct.
to this offense.
Yes.
And are you aware that he also had one case dismissed as part of his plea negotiations?
Yes.
And that would have been 21-37108.
Yes, ma'am.
So initially, he was charged with indecency with a child by contact for in 2 cases, same victim, not just one.
I'm objecting, Your Honor. That's relevant. The case has been dismissed. It shouldn't have any part of this.
It was part of the original plea agreement. That's overruled.
And
At first glance, this sounds like a dispute over money. The defense argues that Ernest Sinnett simply couldn't afford the required polygraph examination. But probation officers are painting a very different picture. According to their testimony, the real issue isn't financial hardship. It's that Sinnett continues to deny responsibility for the offense he previously admitted to in court. And that's a major problem in sex offender treatment programs, where accountability is often considered the first step toward rehabilitation.
And he went from $30 to $15. He worked with his budget.
But it is true that Mr. Sinet said, I don't have the funds and I can't afford to pay it.
He did.
And that's ultimately why he was kicked out of the program. He didn't pay it. And didn't take the polygraph.
Yes.
No further questions, Judge.
Just a couple, Your Honor.
Sure, go ahead.
Ms. Simon, is it a requirement of Mr. Sennett's probation that he maintain employment?
Yes, ma'am, but Mr. Sinet does receive disability.
Okay. Pass the witness.
No other questions.
Do you know how much the disability is a month?
It last I remember it was in the 900s. I don't know if it was changed.
How much do you, raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right. How much do you receive in disability a month?
$1,064.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live in an apartment.
Who pays for that apartment?
$235 a month.
235. So you get housing.
Section 8.
Section 8. So your part of it is 235.
Uh,
Your part is 235 of the rent.
yeah,
Okay. And do you also get SNAP benefits or food stamps?
$50 a month.
Okay. Any other benefits that you receive?
Whatever.
Do you have a vehicle?
Yeah, I'm paying 200, 400 and some dollars on my car note.
And do you live with, are you married?
No,
Do you live with someone else?
no, I live in my own apartment.
Nobody lives with you?
No,
Are the electricity and all of that, is that paid for through the apartment or do you pay any of
I
that?
pay the light bill.
How much is that about a month?
It runs varies, it's like $70 to $80 a month.
You have any other bills?
I had some bills, but my sister helped me out and paid them all. Paid them. I had two a loan.
But you're not paying those anymore?
No. So I'm gonna have to be getting extra money coming in now.
So that's okay. So the polygraph is $15.
No, ma'am, that was the weekly
The
session.
weekly sessions are $15. And how much is the polygraph?
Runs around $250.
And Mr. Sinet has been on probation since February of last year, so a year and a month or so,
Yes, ma'am.
and given time to save up for that, all that time with the two different providers.
He hasn't been attending since he was last discharged. That's when I filed this NTRP. But whenever he discharged from Miss Ayala, I told him to set the funds aside and communicate that with Mr. Simon, so he could pay for the loan.
Okay. All right, any other questions of Ms. Simon?
No, Your Honor.
Not from the state, Your Honor.
So, any other witnesses with regard to, whether or not counts one and true or, no other witnesses?
No.
So based on that information, and testimony by Ms. Simon, I am going to find counts 1 and 2 true in that motion to revoke unadjudicated probation. I've also we have the updated report. Has everyone had an opportunity to review that report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are there any additions or corrections to that report?
I'm aware of Judge.
Not from the state.
Mr. Parker, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I think my questions are playing our position. He attended it. It's what he's relayed to me is it's always been an issue with money that he couldn't afford to pay for the polygraph. He told me he thought it was $300 and he just couldn't afford it. And I think he'd like to address the court, Judge.
Go ahead, sir.
I didn't have the 300. I was paying my money and the $25 a week. And then all of a sudden she jumped up and said she was giving me 6 months to pay, to save the money up. And all of a sudden she changed her mind and, did a 6 months, it was 3 months or something like that. And I just didn't have the $300. I was paying I was going to the therapy. I was paying the $25 a week.
But when you were going to the therapy, you were denying that you had committed the offenses still, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
When I went to the PSI and stuff like that, and then I talked to the probation officer.
Mr. Sinet, so the thing is, I recall all of this because your case went on for so long. Because it was, we're set for trial. No, we're going to plea. We're set for trial. We're going to plea. I did it. I didn't do it. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm not going to take responsibility. So it's not usually a good thing when I recall all of those things, because I'm pretty sure we had a jury ready to go. And on the day of trial, last minute, or maybe even after we selected, I can't remember. It was truly at the last minute. You came in front of me, swore under oath, and pled guilty that you did these things. Nobody forced you to do that. I know I went over it at length because of the history of all of this.
Can I say something? My witness was not called, was not being called into trial and stuff. I was coerced into doing what I done.
So the problem with that story is that I was here and I was a part of it. And you had every right to, there's no one asked for, I know your attorney did everything he could. And I know we talked about that witness. I remember some about that. But the other side of that, though, is I told you that day, don't play guilty if you didn't do it, because you're swearing under oath, which means you lied under oath, is what you're telling me. But I don't believe that. I believe that there is something that happened. You did plead guilty. There's information in here. And so the biggest problem that I have is that you're on probation for a very serious offense that you're saying you didn't do, which means the treatment can't really help you even if you were to do it, because you're not taking responsibility for what you did. I also believe that over that amount of time with probation working with you, getting you with a provider that charged substantially less, that you had the ability to, over at least the time frame that you were on probation before that motion was filed, to come up with the money for the polygraph, which is required. I've done some math. I know you don't have a lot of money, but you also don't have a substantial number of bills. And had you saved just a little bit each month, you would have been able to pay for that polygraph as required. Anything else, Mr. Parker?
Nothing else.
They gave me.
Hang on.
They gave me 6 months to save my money and stuff like that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden she changed it.
The 3 months.
But then you were with another and you got with Mr. Simon and you still did.
I went with him. He told me, say, Mr. Sinet, you don't have to pay the $15. Go ahead and save the money for your lie detector test. Then all of a sudden he changed his mind and told me that he wanted me to pay the money for the $15.
So, but see, Mr. Sinet, what you're saying is, again, you're putting responsibility on other people. I find it hard to believe that they both just lied to you. That both of these doctors just lied and said, I'm going to give you this. And then all of a sudden they said, nope, never mind. I'm going to kick you out. That they don't work like that.
I think what it was, Judge, is that once he didn't accept responsibility, they said, now you're required to take the polygraph. That's why it bumped the time up. That's his story.
Well,
consistent with that.
And that goes back to
Right.
not
I
taking
understand.
responsibility. So, which gets us where we are anyway. So, Ms. Argument with regard to any other argument?
Right. I want to keep him on probation. I think the cognitive track would be a great thing for him. I think he was making efforts to do the probation and do the classes, and I think the cognitive track is the perfect thing for him.
Ms. French?
Yes, Your Honor. From the state's perspective, Mr. Sinet pled guilty to a very serious charge, a charge of indecency by contact with a child who was, if I can see quickly here, I'm looking for I've lost it. A
14-year-old
child,
family.
regardless.
14-year-old family friend.
Yeah, below the age of 17, 14-year-old family friend. The state, as part of that agreement, dropped another charge. And yet here we are a little over a year later. And now Mr. Sennett is saying, I'm not guilty. I didn't do this. Not taking part in the things that he is required to be active in, the sexual offender training. Had he not continued to deny his guilt, he may not have been asked to take a polygraph test. But either way, we're a year into this with no active participation, no positive participation, and still a denial of guilt for sexual contact and decency by sexual contact with a child. So the state would defer to the court regarding a sentence, but would ask the court to make it one that would continue to protect the children in our community.
Thank you, Ms. French. And so, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Snett, I'm looking back also at the original pre-sentence report. Obviously, we had the issues of whether or not you accept responsibility, and that was a 10-year cap, which means on that day, against the argument of the state's attorney and against the wishes of the family of the victim in this case, I sentenced you to probation. And I look back and I wonder why I did that, but I was hoping that you would get the help you needed so that I could feel like our community was safe. You refused to do that. You refused to accept responsibility. So that means you refuse to do all of the other things and take the polygraph and follow through with your sex offender treatment. So at this time, in cause number 21-37107, I'm going to find again counts 1 and 2 true, find sufficient evidence at this time to find you guilty. And at this time, find you guilty of indecency with a child. I'm going to sentence you to a term of 15 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I'm handing you the trial court certification that shows this was not an agreement. You do have some rights to appeal. I have also handed you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition will lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term. Read that written admonishment I provide you. If you have any questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk with Mr. Parker. You can go back with the bailiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You